Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Lilkatz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page for the morning card draw information. It's a live stream that I do almost every morning. There's occasions where it's in the afternoon due to my schedule, but hey, we're here. It's Monday, start of a new work week. And let me tell you, we got a little noise in the background today, for a few minutes anyway. The Moose Construction Company is back up here at the Star Nations Academy. We did the final walkthrough the other day for the, did you hear that? For the bathroom that renovation that we put in. So they have just a couple of things that they need to finish. And then they'll be done. They said about 15 minutes or so. So you're going to hear drilling and probably the compressor for the pneumatic gun and that kind of stuff. So, but they won't be here more than 15, 20 minutes. So thank you, Elise. Elise is here. Good morning. And so is Mary Summers. Good morning. Rob Kendall. Good morning. Thank you for being with me. And thank you, Elise, for sharing the live stream on your timeline. I appreciate that. In fact, thank you for the reminder. I'm going to do that right now and get my phone out. And I'm going to find the live stream. There we are. Make sure my sound is down. And I'm going to like it, and we're going to share it. And I am going to share it to my timeline, my news feed, and say, hi, friends, I'm live streaming. And then join me. There we go. And that is to my newsfeed. And now I'm going to share it to the Star Nations Radio Network closed group, because that's the place where most of our peeps hang out. So I'm just going to say, hi, peeps. And I'm live streaming. Please join me. I love those quick keys. There we go. And we're going to share it to the right group here. There we go. And done. Done. And so thank you guys for helping us out to share the live stream. And I'm going to be taking a look back over probably the last, 3 weeks or so. And those days that I remembered to share and to ask you guys to share the live stream. And I'm going to take a look at the numbers and see if it makes any difference if we're doing a native live stream or if we're using the third-party app for the morning card draw information. So, hey, Cindy Lynn's here too. Good morning, Cindy Lynn. And Mary Anderson Fry is with us. And Jocelyn, good morning, Jocelyn. Good morning. And coffee. I deliberated this morning. Tea, coffee, tea. I chose coffee. Why? Because it was ready, and otherwise I would have had to wait for the water to boil. Ugh, it's good stuff. That first cup, isn't it? Yeah, it's good stuff. I love it. There is something about having that first cup of coffee in the morning. A lot of people can't get out of bed without it, right? Me, my first cup is usually around 9 or 10. So, okay, thank you, Rob, for coming and letting us know. He says he's got to catch the archives. It's a crazy day by him at his work. Thank you for joining and sharing. Yeah, have a good day, Rob. Okay, have a good day. And Rochelle's here. Good morning, Rochelle. I'm going to bring up my hand mirror. I got to remember to write that down to bring it up with me. We'll do a little romper room kind of thing for those of us who remember romper room. It'll be a good chuckle, right? All right. So today is Monday and it is August 27th, and we're starting a very busy work week and a very busy home life week. We got some exciting stuff going on, right? The last weekend of the month for Star Nations Radio Network live stream shows were really busy. because we have Elder Day on Thursday, and of course, the other shows as well. But it's usually a busy week because we have 2 extra shows, and also I'm working on the Star Nations magazine September issue. The contributing writers, some have turned in their articles early, which is yay, because we're heading into a holiday weekend here in the States, right? Labor Day weekend. And so they're getting their articles in just a tad bit early, which I appreciate, so I can start working on those. I already have. I started a day and a half ago, and so yeah, converting documents from PDF to Word doc isn't as easy as it seems. I was doing the tango with an article that one of the feature writers had turned in as a PDF because he was having a bit of a difficulty with his Mac, and so he did the next best thing and saved it as a PDF to send to me. So yeah, Cindy's laughing. I think she's laughing about the romper room thing with the mirror. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to bring that mirror. I really am. Yeah. Hey, congratulations, Rochelle. She said she earned and received her Reiki Master over the weekend. Yay. Good for you, Rochelle. Congratulations. And that's adding one more person to have the ability to help others, right? Yeah. I appreciate that. I do. There's something about going through that initiation as a healer, right? Yeah, it's good stuff. And thank you, Rochelle, for taking the time out of your life just to even learn Reiki and then go through the different stages, like 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, it's good stuff. Congratulations. Today's card draw was an interesting one because it was a kind of a busy morning. Mom had a bath day today, and that's always a little bit of a touch and go, and so it took us a little bit longer, not much, but a little bit longer, and we were having breakfast. She was sharing with me about a dream she had, which is, that's what we do. Been doing since I was a kid, sharing, those kind of dreams that make you go, wow, what was that about? But we were also talking about the walking on of John McCain, and all the everything that swirls around that. And so she was expressing some things about his walking on, his death, and that actually what she was talking about was his mother. I guess his mother is 106, something like that. Yeah. So anyway, it was a little bit longer morning than usual with conversation and that sort of thing. So the card draw, selecting the cards, I was a little bit later, running late on it, and so here is the first card that came, and is called June Companions, and it's about transformation. Isn't that a pretty card? It's got dragonflies and swallowtail butterflies on it. Those yellow and black ones. I'm trying to get my camera to focus. Yeah. Isn't that pretty? And you have the flower of life in the background. And there's a lotus flower right in the middle that the butterfly and the dragonflies are around. And this is all about our transformation, our soul growth. The transformation that we take as we do our healing work, as we learn new things and like Reiki, and we start to consciously work our soul contract, even though we might not always know exactly what that is. I think that when we're working our soul contract is when we feel happy and we feel balanced and we feel, I don't know, like our life has purpose, right? Yeah. Yep. And so this card, it's so pretty. And I like both of those, the dragonflies and the swallowtail. Pretty. Let's see what Francine has to say about this card, because it's about transformation. She says, dragonflies and swallowtail butterflies adorn this card and speak of transformation. The flowered background holds a complex geometric informational system known as the flower of life. The card addresses transformative powers that are at work in your life. This is not an instantaneous, can't read, instantaneous transformation or change. It evolves. It takes time. And she uses the process, the stages of a butterfly and also of the dragonfly to transform into a butterfly, right? The from the egg to the larva to the cocoon to the chrysalis to the adult, right? And that process evolves over time. It's not in an instant. And so our transformation from being a human being that is asleep to our spiritual path and our conscious walk here. And then one day you think, there's got to be something more to life than this, than going to bed, waking up, going to work, going to bed, waking up, going to work. Like there's something more. There's something more. And that is the moment of awakening, isn't it? When you have that idea that, gosh, there's got to be more to life than this. And we start to wake up. And then we go through all the different stages, all the different initiations, all the life lessons, the completion of certifications like the Reiki Master, and other schools of healing. And then we're on our way, right? And then there's that point. There's that point in our maturation, our evolution, that we realize, and not just realize, but really know that we are a spiritual being, that we are having a physical experience. And that is where our soul growth is in that physical experience. But we're a spirit. And in that moment of realization and acknowledgement and acceptance, and is that we're truly consciously awake on our spiritual path and our earth walk, and that realizing that everything we experience here, everything, is all about our soul growth, our maturation as a soul, and being able to take the lessons that we learn and we add it to all of the rest of the soul growth we've had in other lives. And it's when they say that we're awake, yep, we're awake. Do we ever fall back to sleep? On occasion. We drop down in our vibration. Sometimes when we're going through the dark night of our soul, and we all do that, it's just not just for a handful or some. We all go through it in different stages, right? Different concentration of it, right? And so, we can drop down in our vibration. Doesn't mean that we're going to stay there. It's just that part of our life where we're going through very intense growth spurt. Okay. And if we're using the metaphor of the butterfly or the dragonfly, that would be in the process when they're just breaking out of the cocoon. They're in they are the butterfly or the dragonfly, but they're still encased. And it's that point where they're breaking through that membrane, right? And so for our spiritual growth, it's that breaking through. And sometimes you have to break down to break through, to surrender, surrender to the great mystery, to the creator, to the prime creator, actually. And so the transformation is not overnight. It's a process. It's a process. And this is the card that was drawn for those who are just joining us. This is the first card. And so this is the card in the card layout that goes on the right-hand side, and is we're bringing in the information through the male aspect, which is thinking and thought, logic, right? Logic. It's a pretty, pretty card. I love the artwork on it. Let's see, I'm going to get caught up with everybody in the chat room here. Hey, good morning, Amy. Good morning. I know it's a beautiful card, isn't it? I'm glad you're here with us. Amy says, exactly where I'm at now. This happens many times over during life, I'm finding, at least for me. Yeah, it does. I think that there's experiences that are what they call life-changing, right? And I think those are those times when we're going through that transformation, becoming that butterfly or that dragonfly, breaking through. Yeah, I think we go through it more than once, because I certainly did. The two that I know that just took me to my knees, was one was back in 2000. I think it was year 2000, 1999. I think it was 2000, with my parents when they disowned me. I was disowned for like 5 years. That one was huge. But then also there were so many good things that came out of it too. That's when I made my first drum, and there were so many things that came out of that. Good things. And then this last one through half 2016 and 2017, literally getting blindsided, and and I think about it as like getting ditched. I never thought I'd say that about myself. And no longer a part of certain people's lives that literally feel, think that, that I'm dead to them, kind of thing. So it was hard, really hard. And I'm still in the integration phase. I'm still integrating a lot of the lessons and the good stuff that happened, and shifting and changing. And it's good. It is. I haven't felt this good in a really long time. Now, I'm tired. I am sleep deprived, but I feel good. There was a moment there in 2017 that I had very little hope, and that's what I meant about taking me to my knees. But it was in that process of the breakthrough and the surrender, right? And when you're at that point, all I can say is, please reach out to somebody that you trust and has been there by your side the entire time, through the whole thing. They might not have been there physically, but they've been there. And so, and reach out to them for some help. And whether it's just talking about it, or coming and being with you physically, and doing ceremony with you, and watching a funny movie with you. It's those little things that really help. Or the cards in the mail. You guys who sent me cards, I love you, because those cards that came through the snail mail was a little spark of light, of brightness there, So yeah, it's good stuff. Elisa's saying no better teachers than grandmother and grandfather. Yes, absolutely. Grandmother Earth and grandfather Sky. Yes, no better teachers and healers. And Jacqueline is saying, I've been seeing a lot of dragonflies lately. They have been flying quite close. I know. Me too, Jacqueline. There was one one morning right out here, right out in front of the academy here, I had pulled up, got out of my car, was getting my messenger bag out with my computer and stuff in, and I had just closed the door and turned around, and I had seen 4 dragonflies flying around the front garden. I thought, oh, those are so pretty. And one came over and literally right in front of me, face to face, and flew there for just a second or two. And then flew away. And I was talking to it, I was saying, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I see you. And yes, we will be talking about you and the medicine that you bring to us. And yeah, and that was the first time we were doing the Sacred Path cards. And I remember talking about the butterfly in that deck as well. Yeah. Rochelle saying, I'm happy for you, Neshi. Yeah, me too. She says, I love them, but my naughty chickens eat them. No, it's a cycle of life. It's a cycle of life, And dragonflies eat too. I don't know exactly what they eat, but they do eat. All right, let's see what else Francine has to say. She says that your conscious relationship to the life you lead in the physical dimension and the shifts that are taking place in the fabric of reality at this time are serving to accelerate movement in your present circumstances. Open yourself to wisdom that is coming your way through both rational and intuitive sources. Use your intuition and personal discernment, and remember, quantum physics tells us that tiny packets of light comprise all the matter in the universe. Between these bursts of light are small, still places called choice points. Choice points. You always have a choice in the matter. Know that change does not have to be traumatic. The dragonfly and swallowtail ask you to allow transformation to become joyful play and acceptance of the dance of life. Yeah, and it can be, and that's why we need our friends, those people that are close to us, that can remind us about that, and initiate some of those fun times, whether it's a movie or going for a walk or something like that, listening to music, reminding us of the joyfulness of life and the changes that we're going through, because it really is a transformation. Some people would say it's an initiation. Yeah, that it's meant for our soul growth. And in those moments, to remember that we do have choice. We do have a choice. Because I know sometimes you're at a point in your life where you feel like, what choice do I have? And is that feeling, because you can feel your energy drop when you say that or think it, right? What choice do I have? And so you're talking about the lack of freedom and the being vulnerable and powerless, but we're none of those things. In the moment we might feel like it, but in our overall life, we're none of those things. I was just assisting a client, feng shui and space clearing, and just being an ear, to listen. And she was in one of those moments, and I was that person for her to remind her that even though she doesn't feel at her optimum, she doesn't feel she's at a place in her life that is really, stellar, that she was able to manifest a place to live that she would really, really enjoy. And she did that even through all of these ups and downs and the roller coaster, and that she was able to do that. And she said that she had to kind of sit back and say, that's right. given everything else that's going on, I was still able to hold that intention and to allow the universe to bring it to me. And then learn to let it go because I couldn't control every aspect of it. And when I let it go is when it came. So isn't it kind of funny the way life works that way? The way spirit kind of moves things for us? I think it's great. Yeah. Yeah. Lee says, Lucy and Ethel have their favorite snacks. That must be your chickens, Lucy and Ethel. I love that. I love Lucy. There's something in here that Francine said about open yourself to the wisdom that's coming your way through both rational and intuitive sources. That when we're at that choice point is what she called it, the choice point. Between these bursts of light are small places called choice points. So we always have the choice, a choice. It might be a really small choice, but it's a choice, right? And that we should look at those and discern for ourselves. Is that a choice for me? And if I do make a choice, which one is it, right? Choice points. I like that one. I'm going to actually use that. The choice point one. There, I wanted to share also, I'm going to put something in the chat as a link after the show. Is when I was first starting to study spiritual information, written information, this was years ago, late 90s, right? I was looking up Rainbow 12 Gifts in a Song, and it was a phrase that was given to me in a dream by spirit. And it was one of those things, I can still remember it. They kept saying it over and over and over, the phrase. You have to remember this, Rainbow 12 Gifts in a Song. They'd say it fast, and they'd say it slow. They'd say it really loud and like a whisper. And remember this, Rainbow 12 Gifts in a Song. I didn't know what they meant. I asked, and they said, you have to find out. You have to research. And so I started doing the research on that phrase, what each one of those phrases, each one of those words meant within the phrase. And it took me down a path about light. And that's when I actually first started looking at sacred geometry. And in my study of that flash of light, I found something called sonoluminescence. Sonoluminescence. And basically what that is with sound and liquid, is that science, and there's actually a science around this, is that in experiments, what the scientists would do is they would use sound to vibrate water, a liquid. And in the vibration of the liquid with the sound at a given decibel, and the water is vibrating, right? The water starts to vibrate, and there is a bubble that forms, a bubble in the water, on top of the water. And when the bubble bursts, there is a flash of light. And there is actually a video on it. And watching that, I felt it. Oh, this is exactly what they were telling me about, my spiritual team. And so I watched it a few times. It's called sonoluminescence. And when we take it to sacred geometry, remember when the Prime Creator wanted to experience relationship, movement, that being took two circles, two spheres, and they brought it together, right, to form the vesica Piscis, and that's where it overlaps. And in the overlap, when those two circles start to overlap and create that that gap between the two circles, as soon as that happens, there's a flash of light. That's the spark of life. And so in those early days, when I was led to sonoluminescence, that was to show me that spark of light. And we also have that spark when we start to manifest. When we're manifesting something into our life out of thin air, remember that we're sending our intention for that manifestation, whatever it is that we're trying to create. We send it out into the sixth dimension where the platonic solids are. Some people call it the void, where the formless takes form. And when our intentions are sent out there, our prayers, and they're met with spirit, we create that vesica piscis, that flash of light, and that is where creation comes from. And so we are these co-creators. We are. And so when we have those low moments, those times when we're going through the dark night of the soul, those are the things that we tend to forget. And so that's why I said, if you're going through something like that, reach out to those closest to you, so you can share about your feelings, and help. They will help you to remember the tools that you have at your fingertips to get you through that and become that adult butterfly as you break through that membrane to be able to fly, right? That transformation. I'll show the card one more time here. There we go. Pretty, pretty. All right, so that was the first card. The second card that came is Ka. Whoops. Got to turn it the right way. Ka. And this is another pretty card. It's got the swirl of the rainbow in there. And in that toric field, Taurus, the toric field. And Francine says that the essence of this card is about life force. Life force. Right? It's pretty. These two cards coming together had me sitting there kind of like in like, really? Because I think that there's some big medicine in these two cards. And let me share with you what Francine has to say about Ka, and then we'll put the two cards together, okay? She says that this is a rainbow-colored torus. The donut-shaped geometry of the tube torus expresses the concept of spirit as life force. Ka comes from Merkaba. It is spirit. The water lilies, which are intended to symbolize our potential for enlightenment, surround and are contained within the rainbow-colored torus. So you see the lilies around the toric field there and within. She says the card signifies that our relationship to spirit and the life flow of the universe. And that we can actually use this image to relax and literally breathe in the universal flow of spirit. Ka, meaning spirit of the Merkaba. When I read the information about this card, I thought of it's the potential for our enlightenment. It's about our spirit. It's about our spiritual growth. and you put these two cards together, it's about our spiritual growth. It's about that life force found in that spark of light. And it reminded me of something else. There's a meditation that I do, classes I used to teach, and it feels like I'm being pulled back in that direction again. Teaching it in the vibration, the frequency that we're now living in, rather than, what was it, almost 10 years ago when I taught it. Not quite, 5. There's a point in the connecting the mind and the heart. The mind and the heart. There's 2 places that there's a burst of light. It's when we've moved, our spirit has moved out of our brain, our physical brain, and we're making our way down to our physical heart. There's a point near your throat chakra where you make the transformation. You become that ball of light, and it's literally a burst of light, because it's recognizing that you are a spiritual being. And that light is you. That bright light is you. And we're traveling down to the physical heart. When we get to the physical heart, and there's a way to get into the physical heart. Once we're in, and we're in what's called the sacred space of the heart, the sacred space, we literally ask for there to be light. And when the light comes on, sometimes it's kind of like a soft glow, like an ambient light. And other times it is like this burst of light, where it's very bright, almost like the sun comes out, kind of bright. And so that's what this reminds me of, is that it's about our spiritual growth. It's about how we can be that balanced being, that universal being, the what is that called? Universal being. We're just not human beings or beings from Earth. We're from the universe. And so when we think of ourselves that way, or feel ourselves that way, that our purpose here is pretty big, even though, in the unfolding of it, we may not feel like it's big, but it is. Every single one of us is needed to have our soul growth, and to be able to hold the frequency of love, really, and joy and peace. Those energies, when we do that, our field is huge, and we shift and change our environment around us. And so that's why it's important. It's not important exactly where we are living our soul contract out. You could be someone like Amy, who her 9-to-5 job, right, is a cook at a student union, and having this experience with younger souls and older souls, and it's in the unfolding of it, and remembering her tools when she has a bad day, or when remembering her tools when she's having a really good day, and to be able to infuse love in the food that's going out to these souls who are literally studying. Or you could be the receptionist at your doctor's office. You could have been my dad, who was the head custodian at our school district, and and putting in his caring about children and about education in the way that he could, right? So it's how we live our lives. It's not what we live. It's how we live. That's how I look at it. Yeah. Hey, Julie Hedges is with us. I know. Butterfly, isn't that a really pretty card? It's about transformation. Yeah. And so I think when we put these two cards together, it's about our soul growth and that we have choices. We have choices in that in our path. Yep. I think it's a good one. I mean, when you just look at these cards on the surface, when most people probably wouldn't think that they have such a big message behind it, but I think they do. I think they do. Yeah, and I do. That's why I had to sit there, kind of. Oh my gosh, after I got reading the information, and I sat there and connected with my spiritual team, and was talking to them about these two cards, and it really is about our soul growth, and it can be joyful. It doesn't have to be traumatic. Doesn't have to be dramatic in a negative way. It can be joyful, and it can be beautiful. But remember, when the butterfly comes out of the cocoon, when it breaks through as an adult, it's not easy. There's been a couple of videos on Facebook that people have shared about the process of getting out of the cocoon. It's not easy for them. They have to break through, literally. And so if you think of our soul growth that way, when we have those growing pains called dark nights of our soul, when we surrender and have that breakdown is when we break through. Yeah, literally. Literally. So remember the information that we get from these two cards today, that take whatever resonates with you, whatever pieces resonated with you, and hold on to them so that you can sense, feel, see how the energy that's unfolding today, what's that like? What do you see in it? What do you feel in it? And are you a direct participant or are you a witness, right? Maybe you're the friend that gets called, and then you have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. Are you going to sit and talk with this friend of yours, this close friend? You have a choice, to be that person for them. I hope you do. I hope you do. Because let me tell you, it meant the world to me. For my sisters for the four of them to be here for me. It meant everything. It meant everything for Marley, to my BFF from grade school, high school, our adult years, to be here for me. For Paul to do the things that he did for me and with me. There were really many more people here for me. Yeah. And there were some that left. That's true. That's very true. There was a point where I had to make a choice to spend more of my energy and time with those that were here with me, or to spend my energy and time lamenting over who wasn't here. So I made a choice. I chose to be with those who were with me, and to have fun again, and to co-create stuff with. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So take what resonates. If it doesn't resonate, that's okay. That's all right. It wasn't for you. You might be a messenger, or we're planting seeds. That's okay. No worries. No worries. So we have some things coming up this week, right? Tuesday Tuesday at noon Eastern time is chakra sessions with Polly Jola Bay, and she's taking us through the information of our chakras and forgiveness. It's another round and taking us deeper with it. And so that's an important live stream about healing and understanding forgiveness at a deeper level. And then my show Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern is we're going to be doing the Unity Breath together. It's the last Tuesday of the month, and it's a guided meditation. It's all about love and reconnecting to Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky. So I hope you can join me. On Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern is Soul Connections with Polly Jo. And if you're a healer, if you are a light worker and you haven't spent much time on your own healing, your own self-care, that's an evening for us to take care of that. And in a really loving environment that we get to work with our spiritual team as Polly Jo holds that sacred space, that container for us to do the work that we need to do for our own growth. And then there's Thursday. Can't wait for Thursday. It's Star Nation's Elder Day, Thursday, the last Thursday of the month. Kicking it off is Connie Vaughter, and she, with her show, live stream show, Spiritual Mysteries of Life. I take notes because I get to produce these shows and go front row seat, and so I take notes. I really do. And then at that evening, Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, is the Mystery School with Carl and Orchard Franklin, and I get to produce. Yay! We're going to be talking about communication, how we communicate with our spirit, in the spiritual realm. It's going to be a good one. Communication with spirit. So enjoy the rest of your day. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're really, really talking it up. Hang on, I'm going to see what you guys have to say here before we sign off. Elise says, love and hugs to you. Neshi, thank you. You're welcome. And she says, you're doing well now for sure. I certainly am. Thank you. And Julie says, thank you for being so open with that part of your life. Well, yeah, and it's about the sympathy and the empathy because there's others going through it. And if I can even help this much, sharing my experience, I'm grateful to be able to do that. Jane is saying, thank you, Neshi. You're welcome, Jane. And Julia needs a soul connection forgiveness. No, I'm going to be there for that one too. And Rochelle says, I will listen to the archives for Polly Jo. That's great. That's good. And Rochelle says, love you, Neshi. I love you too, Rochelle. I love you guys. All right. With that, enjoy the rest of your day. And Bama Mina, it's Potawatomi, for until we see each other again tomorrow morning. Love you guys.